It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
I said I'm A-Town finest, so put my game down, grinding. Was on them Greyhounds trying to get out of state. My assignment was hit the stage out of college, encourage kids that could do it. Told them how to reach greatness, some days you must be secluded. On my own shit, hang up the phone shit, they on some clown shit. I'm David, I stay with a stone for cracking your dome with. Play me, I come to your home and ring your alarm. Bitch, I'm crazy, this ain't just a song. Quit raising your tone, prick. I'm that nigga, that number one spot, nobody can't top, I ain't even got dropped though. Big dog gon' run in my block, got the blade on chop, eat nigga like nacho. Rent do nigga sell like rock, move bass, I not do me like Rocco. Spend a bitch, she say I'm guapo. No money, I say no hablo, no English. My screenplay, try to get stretched out like Bengay. Don't call me, let you and your friend on the line, try to put it on three-way. I'm Green Bay, I'm about my cheese, nigga run up the check like relay. Got leeway, I flip my style like I'm a lucha libre.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well on this Monday afternoon. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Last night, we had the pleasure of watching Megan Thee Stallion on stage at Coachella, aka Megchella, and she went out there and turned the fuck up the way that most of us should have expected that she was gonna do. All right. Now, although there were some technical difficulties that, permeated throughout the performance, which I did think did her a bit of a disservice, but she continued through that shit. She fought through that shit and she made it happen despite those technical issues. Her set was also cut short a little bit. I believe they were trying to get Post Malone on the stage. I find it a little fucked up that they did that, for Posty, aka Pasty. But, that was also a hurdle. But we're not here to talk about the negatives of the show because those were only footnotes. She got out there and got to that motherfucking business, okay? Now, when she opened up the show, I thought it was dope that she opened up with Ungrateful, which is from, one of my not so favorite projects, Traumazine. But hearing it live actually made me appreciate the record a lot more. It took me to a place I almost didn't even recognize the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because I just didn't listen to Traumazine all that much. But when she opened up the show with it and the way she came in and let the build up happen with the dancers and everybody was in their cowboy shit. You know what I'm saying? And she came out aggressive, because a lot of times artists, they'll come out with a big hit and try to capture the crowd in that way. But your more advanced performers, your people that are like, setting the stage for like a story or some sort of message or some sort of, emotional connection to the crowd, they typically come out with statement records before they start going into hits. And that's the way that Megan approached it. And not to mention, this is just weekend one of Megchella. She'll be back next Sunday to do a whole nother set. I will probably expect it to be something different, which is also a benefit when you have a lot of projects. You have a lot of music that you can choose from. You could open this day with this material, come back the next week and do a whole nother set of material and maybe even mix in some of the stuff that we heard last night. But she got out there and fucking bodied it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, a lot of snake ass, fake ass, right? You know what I'm saying? Like she got to that shit, man. It was like, damn, she going in. Somebody came in my comments because I posted a snippet of that, the opening from the show, which at this time, I believe has like 25,000 views on Twitter or something like that. Shout out to all the hotties and everybody that tuned into that clip. But somebody said, I feel like Ungrateful was the original Hiss. And I'm like, you might be onto something. You got a good point there. You know what I mean? But she killed it. She comes out, does Ungrateful, goes into thought shit. So she's not necessarily hearkening on the newest material. I'm not hitting y'all with my newest shit just yet. I'm gonna give y'all a refresher of these last couple projects. Goes into thought shit, comes back currently, with Wannabe for a little second. She goes through Freak Nasty, Girls in the Hood, Where Them Girls At /Savage, which was dope. A nice little mashup between those records. She brings out old girl from Spirit Box to do TYG, Testing Yo Gangster, you know what I'm saying? Which I told y'all wasn't my favorite from the Megan project, but I know y'all like it a lot, and I think it works a lot better on stage where you can scream at the top of your lungs and it can actually be accepted on stage with a crowd, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just raw, unfiltered energy. It actually worked as a live performance. Not my favorite song, but I fuck with it as a performance. Um, Gets into realer. He think I love him. Both ain't shit. You know what I mean? And then we get a stellar motherfucking entry of the Queen Latifah. You know what I'm saying? The Queen herself comes out and bodies this shit. You know, interestingly enough, with this Plan B record, it's another one of those Megan Thee Stallion songs that are not my favorite. I thought that during the era that she dropped this, you know, they put a lot of energy into it. They put a lot of backing into that record. I felt like it could have been better tailored to something else. But as she performed it and actually brought out the legend Queen Latifah, I was like, you know, I didn't really give this song as much, uh, you know, bandwidth as I possibly could have. Still not one of my favorites, but this performance with the Queen was very captivating. Unexpected, didn't see that coming. Had no inkling that she would bring out a legend, you know, somebody that we really haven't seen her with or anything like that. You would probably expect more of, you know, the other current ladies that she's been collaborating with, but no. So when Queen comes out, and I've seen a little bit of conversation about this, she comes out, and I wish I could show y'all video. I cannot show y'all video because all of the Coachella material is copyrighted. It's to the point where they don't even allow you to play it, even if you're not monetizing the video. Coachella is that firm on, nah, nigga, this our shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't step on our dope. You're not finna come on our block. So unfortunately, I can't show y'all a motherfucking thing. But nonetheless, if you scroll back on their main stage from last night, it's there for you if you want to see the whole performance. But I saw that there was a bit of conversation around this Queen Latifah Plan B verse because it's actually a verse from a diss record she put out back in the 90s on Foxy Brown. So I guess some people are trying to read into that to see if there's some smoke there or if they want to, you know what I mean? Which I personally am not feeding into. I don't want to give no energy to that negativity. I don't think Queen Latifah is in that place today where she's trying to rehash old beef from the 90s with nobody. I don't think Foxy Brown is in a place where she's going to hear that verse and be like, oh my God, don't, you know what I'm saying? Because a thing that she did, which was super clever, was she did a mash of different parts from the diss record. So the stuff that was like direct shots at Foxy, those bars were omitted from the verse. She just used some of her aggressive bars to like give us a reminder I could still get at it, I could still do this shit, and I could still rap my shit with energy and fervor, and that shit sounded great. You know what I mean? And just the fact that she came out and did it. Also, I want to note that the record that Megan's Plan B samples is the Jodeci Freaking You remix featuring I believe it's Raekwon and what is it, Ghostface? So that beat is what was sampled for the Plan B record, and in that diss record that Queen Latifah put out, it was kind of like a jacking for beats, so she rapped on a bunch of different popular beats from that time period. One of the beats in that record was that Jodeci remix record. So that's where some of those bars came from over that exact beat. So I do think that that was excellently curated to be like, you know, this is one of my, you know, singles from the last few years. It samples this record. One of the queens of hip hop rapped over this very same instrumental and was popping shit on it. Let's see if she would be down to kick her verse from that record with me on one of the biggest possible stages at Coachella. I wish they would have allowed her to go on earlier, personally. You know, especially being on the East Coast, I know it was 8:35 in West Coast time, but out here it was 11:35, which was, come on, man. Niggas is grown out this bitch, man. Sunday night. Not like I had to be to work in the morning, but shit, man, I got a family. I got a kid, you know what I mean? Like, can't you be staying up all night watching Coachella? But I did nonetheless, right? um, but that was fire. It was fire. Then you get Queen Latifah going into UNITY, which I thought was also beautiful. I saw some people that were a little bit confused. I saw somebody who I respect say that they didn't like that Megan Thee Stallion had Queen Latifah on stage rapping the UNITY verse while simultaneously being, kind of half clothed. I thought that was the beauty of it, was to have her come out and do UNITY, speaking on women empowerment and unity. And although Queen Latifah is fully decked out, Megan Thee Stallion can be half dressed and they can still be unified as women and have two, not necessarily opposing views or opposing standpoints in music, but they're just coming from different angles in how they approach music, and they still should be unified. Just like we had the Ladies Night remix with all the different styles of the ladies. You had the Left Eyes, you had the Angie Martinez, you had the Brat, you had I can't even think of all of the ladies that were on the Missies. They were all different. Kim was on there. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their own angle. Why is it that they can't coexist, collaborate, and be unified without that being taken somewhere else where it doesn't need to be? I think that's weird, but whatever. She then goes into Boa, which again was not one of my favorite records. I thought the beat was fire, and I thought her raps on the song were good too, but I didn't really care for the hook all that much. Boa live is actually a vibe. I'll give her that. I like it a lot better as a live performance record than just a standalone listening. That's me. It ain't got to coincide with your opinion. I don't dislike the record. I just, I've always said that about the record. Then we get to Bigger in Texas, which she did a good job on Bigger in Texas. Bigger in Texas is one of the better joints, better singles, in my opinion. One of my favorite. Let me say favorite. One of my favorites. I won't say better. In recent memory with Megan, I just feel like it's that Houston flavor. It's authentic. She's not trying to stretch herself left or right to pop or for the urban radio. It's just, I'm on here flexing on a fucking southern ass beat, and I'm pacing myself. I'm saying what the fuck I want. I'm at the top of my game. Gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that joint a lot. I like that fucking that interlude thing she did where she went backstage and like was getting ready while with the steel tipping mashup shit that was going on. That shit was fire too. You know what I'm saying? Not only did she was that fire, but I believe that whole backstage camera documentation thing in between songs, I think that was a tribute to Janet Jackson, which also fire, keeping it very ladies, very woman-centric, black woman-centric, giving the ladies that just do. Salute to that. Cognac Queen, she comes out, does Spin with fucking Victoria Monet, which I don't think a lot of people necessarily like. Yeah, of course you kind of could hope that they would do that collab live on stage, but I don't know if it was necessarily expected. I don't think I could say for me, I didn't expect it. But they did a good job. They did some girl on girl shit, which I know y'all was getting very excited about. It's one of the it's one of the biggest subjects from the performance was them doing the girl on girl twerking and shit. You know what I mean? I had to kind of clutch my pearls a little bit. You feel me? Yeah. But that was dope. Then they go into On My Mama, which of course is Victoria Monet's record, her hit record. That was dope. Especially since that song has like that Houston vibe to it anyway. So that was a good connection. Um, you get Simon Says Go to Body. I seen some people that didn't like something about that. I don't really know. Somebody said it was like dragging too long. It was just commentary I seen on Twitter. I don't know. I didn't catch that, but whatever. Everybody's entitled to their opinions. Then we get into Rock Steady slash Goodies, right? So she does the first half of Rock Steady by herself. I know some people did expect Flo Milli to come out, but Flo Milli is a new mother, so I don't know why that would have been at the top of mind. Maybe people don't recall that, but she does the first half, and then Ciara comes out, and they do the Goodies, which of course that record samples Goodies. Dope. Again, an unexpected twist to the show. Cause really I was like, okay, Flo Milli's probably not gonna come out, but maybe she does Flo Milli's part. Maybe she um goes into another joint just to kind of do the first piece, and then but when Ciara came out, the crowd fucking erupted. That was like, whoa, okay, dope. Hit us with the surprises, which also makes me excited for week 2 to see what else Megan has up her sleeve for that performance. You know what I mean? That was dope. And that the moment that they had where Ciara says real hot girl shit, I think that's dope. You know what I mean? So again, keeping in line with the good energy, the good vibes, keeping it very lady, you know what I mean? Centric. I think that was greatly needed. I don't think we knew we needed it, but it was greatly needed for that performance. She then goes into Big Old Freak and then caps it off with Mamushi, which unfortunately was cut short due to they was trying to get her to fuck off the stage, which I don't like that. This is a big act, man. This is Megan the fucking Stallion. You don't rush Megan the Stallion off stage. I understand you got to give her her cues in the ear to say, hey, we gotta push through this shit, but she was on her last fucking record, bro. Like y'all could y'all could go over. It's a lot of motherfuckers that don't be on time for Coachella, be making the fucking crowd wait and then go over and all that type of shit. She was on time. She was on point. She did her shit. Like, let's not act like um she was operating out of the scope of what she was supposed to be doing. To cut her shit short like that, I feel like that was a huge disservice and a bit of disrespect, especially with an artist on their last record. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dog. 2 minutes ain't gonna fucking hurt y'all, especially with this. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna go there, but come on, man. Thought that was a little fucked up. Not to mention, she had mic issues throughout the performance. She had to call somebody out there to readjust and fix her fucking mic on her back so it wouldn't fall off. The receiver thing. So yeah, man. Get that shit together, Coachella. Get y'all shit right. Make sure y'all treat her right next weekend. Y'all got a week to get y'all thing together. But overall, it was a really good performance. I think she did an excellent job. She's out there doing choreography. She got goddamn big. She got Bigfoot coming on stage. Hell no. Got motherfucking Bigfoot coming on stage while they doing. Good God. Think she did a great job, man. She's out here doing choreography, going through all different points of the stage, multiple wardrobe changes, literally allowing the world to see her as she does her wardrobe change backstage while getting on back on stage while a song is playing to get out there for the next one. Like, that was dope, man. She did a great job. I've seen some people that aren't even all that fond of Megan Thee Stallion giving her props, which I appreciate. And I think we need more of that, right? Everybody doesn't have to be your favorite artist. Just because they're not your favorite artist doesn't mean that you can't acknowledge that they did a good fucking job or that they put on a good show. Like, we gotta get some of this weird energy up out the paint, especially with hip hop. Hip hop especially, right? Because we're already in a very interesting position with this shit, right? We have our primary artists that's dropping number ones, number twos, number threes, whatever the fuck, doing music videos, blah blah blah. But outside of a very specific margin of artists, the rest of the genre is suffering. The rest of the genre, yeah, there's some good music coming out, but it's not getting covered. It's not being appreciated. It's not you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not as it's not as much of a movement as people might think, right? And when the movement space of hip hop is on the decline, that means the entire genre is on the decline as a unit. So although there may be outliers and you know, good achievements happening in the midst of it, we need to have the rising tide for everybody that's good, everybody that's putting in work, everybody that's dedicated to their craft, to be able to be a part of that rising tide, for others to follow, for others to, you know, get in those floodgates. And a lot of the reason why shit don't be going as well is because of the stand wars and all of this other shit, which it gets to a place of just being unnecessary. Like, if somebody does something dope, say it's dope. You don't gotta fucking lick their toes. Just say shit dope. You know, but that's just my perspective of the situation. I had articles that I was gonna read and go through, and I've been talking this whole time for 20 minutes, just going through the set list. Awesome. Beautiful. Talking about music. And I think that this is what Megan needs as well. All the conversation that we've really had about Megan in 2025 for the most part has been around the courtroom and the stuff with Milagro, the stuff with Emilio Garcia, and that has its place. We enjoy talking about that stuff, but at the same time, I want the music. I want her to be able to shine. I want to see her do more of these performances where she can go through her catalog and really show that she's a rapper, not just somebody who releases rap music. I think there's definitely a distinction in the space between people that do that, like who's actually a rapper versus who drops rap music. Not to discredit anybody that drops rap music, but there is a difference, right? And a lot of that is dictated on the stage. But anyway, shout out to Megan, shout out to the hotties, and yeah, man, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was a really good performance. Let me know what y'all think of this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. Let me know what y'all favorite parts of the performance were. If there's anything you feel I missed, you can say it down in the comments, but also be respectful. Don't be disrespecting me. But y'all already know, man. Be sure to like and share the video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they died of me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.